Hello guys, this is an attempt to show you what is needed for the COSLA assignment. So please open the file folder I gave you. It's named Files Given to Students. And in this file, you will see two folders and several files. Okay, so please open to the folder named Chapter Summaries. If you click on that, you will see summary PDF, summary documents for each chapter. Now, each student is assigned one chapter to make a COSLA report on. Supposing you are assigned to Chapter 6, you click on that, and you will see that in Chapter 6, there are 4 learning objectives. Each objective is actually a question that will be answered in the COSLA presentation. Normally, under the objectives are several chapter summaries, and most often these are the answers to the questions assigned. Now, take note of this because for our exercise, the best way to answer the exercise is to answer the learning objectives or to use the chapter summary as the basis for your minimum of 3, maximum of 5 concepts that you will explain in the chapter. Okay, so this is the best reference on what you will put in your report. Either answer the 4 questions or use the 4 key points, 3 to 5 key points in the chapter summary. Now, I go to the file named COSLA guide. No? So again, if you open that, it's a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, what does COSLA mean? So I'll open this, make it into a slideshow. COSLA actually means Concept Overview, Synthesis, and Local Application. That is the task you need to do in your assignment, and you will implement it in your assigned chapter. So basically, the synthesis portion is you answer the learning objectives, which are at the start of the chapter, use images and diagrams, and apply it to local examples from A, your current or past work, B, your passion or hobby, or C, a local, recent, and familiar example. So that is what COSLA is all about. And again, we're limiting the scope for your assignment to basically answering the chapter questions and limiting it to just 3 to 5 chapter questions. Okay, so 3 to 5. So that is the COSLA guide. In your file, there is also a sample and template. I highly recommend that you just use this template, change the contents of the template to suit the chapter that you are assigned to. So, for example, in this sample and template, I'm just covering 3 things. Why is marketing important? What's the scope of marketing? And how has it changed? So that is the scope for this chapter. So there's a concept. Don't mind explaining the concept. I can help you with that. The more important thing, aside from listing the concepts, using the guide and the template, and this template, you are required to think of how this applies again to your current or past work, your passion or hobby, or a familiar local example. So my examples are from how I teach, and these are my examples for the COSLA, okay? So again, use the guide in the Convince Steve Jobs, the lecture which we did last week, and just use this template. What do I mean using this template? You don't need to use any other thing. You can just if your chapter title, what's your chapter title again? If your chapter 6, then your title is analyzing consumer markets, okay? So what I mean by just using this template is um, just instead of this, just type in your main title, which is analyzing consumer markets, and a secondary title, which can be a creative way for you to say um, the title in a different way. So, uh, uh, analyzing or marketers are psychologists, okay? And then you just put your name. For example, you're Juan de la Cruz. And of course, you're doing this for the Ateneo. You can retain that. And then you then choose what questions and objectives you are answering. So if I go back to chapter 6, the questions are: how do consumer characteristics influence buying behavior? What major psychological processes influence consumer responses? So you can choose all these four because the minimum is 3, the maximum 5. So if we are to change the using this template, let me just go back to it so I won't forget. I'm just taking a photo of this so I can remember these 4 things. Okay, so if I were to change the template to reflect chapter 6, what I can do is, wait, where's the template? Sample and template. I can change, instead of marketing, I can say consumer buying behavior is influenced by, okay, number 1, consumer characteristics. Number 2, psychological processes, the purchase decision process. And other factors that other irrational factors. So that can be my new outline for the questions and objectives. So I'm just cleaning it up. Okay, so here I've used the templates to just change the content, and you can make an outline. If I go to the outline is consumer behavior. I can change this again. Is influenced by blah, blah, blah. So 1 is consumer characteristics. Although I need to be specific here. So if I look forward, what are the consumer characteristics? 3 factors: cultural, social, and personal. Okay? Consumer behavior is influenced by 3 factors: cultural, social, and personal. So if I apply it here, apply it to here, is influenced by 3 consumer characteristics: cultural, social, and personal. So you want the outline to be specific for it to be terrific. All right. So, and you can do the same for this. Okay. So that is how you make the outline. And then, as I mentioned, you just have to add more details. If that's the outline, that should be the contents of your body as well. No? So again, if we just go back, it's analyzing consumer markets. Consumer behavior is influenced by consumer characteristics. And the three consumer characteristics are cultural, social, and personal. So in the body, since this is the first component, we can change the subtitle heading here. Let me just go back. Okay, I'll just retype this portion. Oops. Hard to do a live demo, guys. Okay, so I just go to that. I'll edit that. Consumer characteristics. So cultural, social, and personal factors influence behavior, and so on. So you can change the contents of the template to adapt to the content. So I'll just say this as a demo, COSLA sample. Oh, if you were to submit this, the way I recommend or I require you to submit this is to name it as COSLA Chapter 6, Analyzing Consumer Markets, V78, and then you put your name. So if your name is Juan de la Cruz, that is how you will save the file. Okay, I hope this was a useful guide for you to make your COSLA assignment. And then when you save it first as a PowerPoint file, so PPTX. And then after finishing your PowerPoint, as we demonstrated in the class, and I recorded here too, so we recorded it, saved it as a PowerPoint. What you can do now is after this is finished, assuming this is finished, you go to the first slide, and now we'll try to put some audio into the presentation. Okay, the way to do that, and you can only do this after you've finished the slideshow presentation and saved it as PowerPoint, is what you'll do is go to the first page of the finished PowerPoint, click slideshow, and then you start recording slideshow. So what I'll do now is to click record slideshow. You will notice that our play narrations, use timings, and show media controls. So I'll click record slideshow. All right. And then as you see on my screen on the upper left side, there's a recording button. You'll click that. It will give a countdown. And now you will have a chance to put your audio or your voice on the PowerPoint presentation, which I'm doing now. So, for example, this is the cover slide. You will say, I'm reporting, this is Juan de la Cruz reporting on analyzing consumer market. And then you click so that it goes to the next slide, and then you continue as if you're reporting. So consumer buying behavior is influenced by blah, 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 and you speak. And then when you're finished with the slide, you click again on the arrow key and you speak again. Now, after you've talked through the entire presentation, what you'll do is go to the X button at the upper right hand, you close, and then automatically the file will be have an audio portion indicator shown at the right bottom. If you see that, all you need to do is to save your file, save it as an audio version of your presentation. So you'll still save it. You'll save it now as a PPTS. So PowerPoint show. Here, PPFX. Save it as a PowerPoint show, which I'm doing now. So once you save it as a PowerPoint show, and you open it again, it will automatically play with the audio. So here, in my computer, I saved it first as a PowerPoint presentation. That is the one without audio. And then I saved it as a PowerPoint slideshow. Again, if you click it now, it will automatically play with sound. So I hope that's a good demonstration of what I showed in class. Don't worry too much if it doesn't work. The best effort will do, but still we hope that you can submit this on Saturday. Okay? So that's how to save it as a PowerPoint show. And then for the as a one final challenge is we'll save this as an audio file, as a movie file. So now you save it as file, save as, and the last one we saved it with audio was as a PowerPoint show of PPSX. This time we'll save it as an MP4. So MP4 or an MPEG video, you click it and then you save it, and then it will automatically convert it to that format. So if we see it, now we have 3 files of the same presentation. The first file is a PowerPoint presentation. The second one is a slideshow with audio. And the last one is an MP4 that we can upload to YouTube. Now, what you need to submit on Saturday are the 3 versions, the PowerPoint show, and the MP4 file. All right, so I hope this was a good clarification and demonstration of the assignment for COSLA. And don't worry if you don't perfect it. I'll not grade it yet this Saturday, but it's useful for you to do it so that you know how it does, what the challenges are, and you'll only learn if you do it. So I hope this is clear. I'll try to post this video on YouTube.